Hello, friends. This is a re-recording of this video since the recording for y'all didn't go quite right. And since this is the weekend of the full moon in Aries, I thought this would be a great time to talk about creative struggles. Make sure to re-record this and put this out for your enjoyment. Use as you choose. As always, make sure to grab your art materials. Any is fine, even if it's just a piece of paper that you scribble on, anything is good. But for this ritual specifically, I invite you to maybe pull out some pieces that you feel stuck on. Maybe you don't feel they are finished, you don't know how to finish. You don't have to work on those tonight. Maybe just bring them into the space so that you can use some of that energy to work through those blocks, because this is all about creative struggle. And that's what we want to focus on today. So with that said, let's go ahead and share our piece. So dealing with creative struggles. And make sure to share my computer shared. And let's get into it. So like I said, this ritual is to help you move through those creative struggles. I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about what that means. But you don't have to work on the project itself. If this is something that you are like, I don't know if I want to work on this tonight, just bring it into the space, bring it into your world. I'm going to grab this old canvas and give it some love, give it some space to be worked on, right? So let's talk about what are creative struggles. So let's start with, what do creative struggles look like? And as always, bring out your journal and feel free to write any of these down. Or as I'm listing these off, know that you can add to this list. This is not a complete list, but just some that I came to. Feeling overwhelmed before getting started. This is very common, especially if you are an artist who works with a medium. Like I've seen this a lot in oil painters, people who do realism. I think sometimes it can be very intimidating just to get started. Of course, getting frustrated with how it's going, getting stuck in the middle or end with no idea of what to do next. Very common, both of those. Feeling like you have lost steam after starting and are unable to finish. Sometimes when we get the inspiration to begin a project, it's very common to use so much energy we kind of peter out. Fear of messing up if you keep going. You've gotten to a place that looks immaculate, but at the same time, you recognize that it's not done. This can be a very difficult place to move from because it looks so good, but yet you know it needs more. Overwhelmed because of how a project is going. Too slow or not as imagined. So this is very similar to getting frustrated with how it's going. But the difference is, one is explosive and one is implosive. One is you're getting frustrated, so your energy is heightened. You are getting fussy. You might want to scream or yell. Overwhelmed means you just leave the studio or leave the space that you're working in because you can't continue. And you might not even feel like returning to your creative space. So this is the difference that I wanted to kind of like put out there. But of course, how can we deal with these creative struggles? So again, these are just ideas. These are not the be all end all. But allow yourself to be the observer and take a step back. And that might physically mean actually pushing your chair away, stepping up out of your chair or where you are standing, and just walking away and looking at it from a distance, getting a drink of water, and coming back to look at it. And maybe asking yourself, could this feeling, whatever that means, be connected to something that is unrelated to the art making process? Are you feeling feelings because you're perhaps bringing in something to your creative process that's not related? And that's totally fair. As emotional beings, our emotions are going to show up with us. So, did you get frustrated earlier in the day? Is there something else that's taking your attention and getting you out of your flow space? Creative struggles stop our flow, and flow is that part of our creative process where we're really just channeling. And so when we're out of that flow space, that state of flow, we can just kind of take this step back, observe, ask what might else be happening. And of course, because we are emotional and intelligent, emotionally intelligent beings, how can we hold space for this? So connect with ourselves with breathing and meditation. I will always say, take a seat, meditate with that piece of art, maybe do some breath work, or just take a hand over heart and connect with the breath. That's okay too. You don't have to make it a whole big ritual. Just take that, again, that step back, hand over heart, close your eyes if that's comfortable, and just breathe. And ask, where is my mind and body not feeling trusted or connected? Connected or trusted? Any of those. Where is my mind and my body kind of not making that connection for yourself? Of course, another way to support, and this is something that you can practice tonight, especially, begin another piece. Can I start something new to give myself a fresh eye? Again, you can keep the piece that you want to kind of like work through the block with, and just don't have any intention of working on it, but work with it near you. So you can keep it in your space and kind of look over at it. And you might be surprised when you have a like aha moment for yourself. Allow that to come through as it feels authentic. We are not here to create an inauthentic experience, right? We are here to really just hold space. You are taking part in this ritual tonight to hold space for whatever that might mean. Take your space, pace it out, right? And use as you choose. And then, of course, as always, journal what you're experiencing. Can we narrate this experience and pinpoint what exactly is happening in our hearts, minds, and spirits? So, what I mean by that is stream of conscious journaling. If you are feeling frustrated, if you're feeling blocked, writing down everything, including what are you noticing in the room? What are you feeling in your body? How has your heart rate gone up or down? How are you feeling tension in your body? How does this make you feel? So just really setting space for all of that. This doesn't have to be complicated as always. It is just what you need as you need it, right? So before we dive into our practice, of course, as always, you can write an intention on your piece of art that you want to work on. You can start the new piece and write an intention on that. Of course, that's always something that I love for people during this process, is to set that intention, set that space. But before even doing that, I want to invite you today is to just kind of look at these questions, and you can screenshot this, you can write them all down. Remember, this is a recording, so please feel free to pause at any point. I'm going to give us some time together to journal some of these questions. What can I learn from these creative struggles? or what can they teach me? Sorry, that um isn't written out right. I apologize. But anyway, how can my creative struggles help me learn to be more creative? How can I use this struggle to improve my creative connection? How can this discomfort help me push my ideas? Is this really a struggle or an opportunity to surrender deeper? Where do I tend to hold tension in my body? Now, I'm going to put on some music. Feel free to journal with me through the time that I'm journaling, or again, put on your own music, pause the video, and come back whenever you feel called. This is your space, right? This is a recording, so use as you choose, use as you choose. But all of these are questions. And again, the first one is meant to say, what can I learn from these creative struggles, or what can they teach me? This is all meant for us to reframe the struggle as a learning curve, as a ability, an invitation, a ability to dive deeper and really push what we can create. Struggles help us grow, right? So let's look at it as that. With that said, again, I'm going to begin my process of putting on some music. This time, and I'll check in soon. All right, my friends. I'm going to invite you to zoom out for a second. I hope this journaling has maybe brought you an intention tonight. That intention can be as simple, or today, it's daytime. That intention can be as simple as simply moving through your creative struggles. I want to just reframe one thing before continuing. That creative struggles are incredibly normal. They're part of the creative experience. They are part of how we are artists. Not every day will be perfect flow. And I just want to give that reminder before we begin the meditation to help ease any anxiety that you might be entering this ritual with. To just remember that creative problem solving is so inherently part of this process, and that your magic as a creative is not diminished by anything, including dealing with a creative struggle. You are so powerful. Whether you feel it in the moment or not, that's fine, because that's also so inherently human and part of our experience as well. But I just want to encourage you in that it is okay to feel doubt in our creative process. And if you didn't feel doubt at least once in a while, there would probably be something even more bizarre happening. Because as humans, we are always experiencing the ebb and flow and the cycle of our lives, the expansion and contraction. So, with that said, I want us to meditate with this intention of finding our way through, allowing ourselves to show up and move through that discomfort or that uncertainty or that blank emptiness of just not knowing what to do next. Tonight, we visualize a doorway that allows us to pass through into the new magic of our creative invitation that might feel like a struggle, a silent struggle, a screaming struggle, a struggle that feels uncomfortable. So I want to invite you next to begin the process of dropping in. This is the doorway I have as a visualization if you need it. But know that you are free to imagine any door that feels good to you. Begin first with just creating a comfortable seat for yourself. Feel free again to pause and maybe think about a position that feels most comfortable. Pull out your ritual tools if that helps. I'm going to be using this healing mist with the word create by Mackenzie Flynn. These are infused with crystals and all sorts of good stuff. But you can use whatever you like. Pull out any candles or incense. Dress it up or down, however you want. And just allow yourself to rest here for a second. I want to invite you to just kind of be with yourself here. And as always, I want to invite you to build a bridge between yourself and your heart, your art and your heart. So go ahead and place one hand over your heart and one hand on your puker. Don't overthink it. As always, just kind of drop in as you feel called. Allow yourself to feel heavy as you come back to the breath. Deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And allow your eyes to just gently close or again focus on the door in front of you. When you feel ready, just take a moment to rest here, feeling maybe the paper or the canvas, whether it's a new piece or an old. Don't overthink it. Just connect with whatever feels right. We're building that bridge between the heart and our art, taking a deep breath in through the nose and letting it out with a sigh. Allowing the room around you to just become empty. And allowing your heart to just kind of open up. And when I say empty, it can be all white light, it can be any color, or even just a black space that just feels open, allowing your mind to just imagine openness. Allow that openness to just fill your whole heart. Coming back to the breath as you need, remembering to take deep breaths in through the nose and release through the mouth. This empty room can be the space that you're in, or a brand new space for you to inhabit. And allow yourself to just simply be here in this room. I want to invite you to imagine now a piece of art that is under your hand. Imagine it floating in front of you now. Imagine that piece of art in front of you in this empty room. And as you look at this piece of art, I invite you to now imagine it slowly but surely with each breath you take, shifting into a doorway. Remember to breathe in through the nose, breathing life into that doorway and exhaling just gratitude for this art in front of you. Allowing it to slowly shift into that door in front of you. Take a moment to notice once it has formed into the door, what kind of doorway it looks like. What kind of details. Is it a solid door? Is it made of glass? Is it made of stone? Is it carved? Is it simple? Is it ornate? Does it have a knocker, a handle, or does it have a doorknob? Notice all the details of this door. Take a second, imagine yourself standing in front of this door or sitting. And as you sit in this empty room in front of this door, this threshold, maybe even a gate of sorts, I invite you to ask it a question. Perhaps the door answers, perhaps it doesn't. Either way, take a moment just to listen and be at the door, this threshold. I invite you to now place a hand on the door. Again, ask the door if it is time to step through. Breathing in deep. Listen with your body. What answer is coming through? Perhaps you just sit with this space, but if you feel calm, I invite you to open the door. Notice what you see. Notice what you feel. I invite you to then step through the doorway if you feel called, or just observe. Wherever you are, take a second to just observe whether that's the other side of the door, just viewing the entrance, or sitting at its feet. Observe how it feels to be in this space, knowing that it can change at any time. You can always enter, always leave. You have permission to do any. Deep breath in through the nose and out with a sigh. I want to invite you to now either step back in to close the door or simply come back to this space. Take a moment just to return home at your own pace, bringing awareness to where you are. allowing your eyes to bat open slowly and coming back to the body, coming back to the room that you are in with all its things. Take a moment here to just be for a second. You are welcome to journal if that feels good, or to simply be for a second. When you are ready, I invite you to really just do what feels intuitively right, what that means to you, whether that is to start on the piece that you felt stuck on, or to begin this original piece here today. Either or, yes, and knowing that you can step through the door and back out at any time. Take time to just simply sit with what feels good. I'm going to put some music on and work with you because I feel called to work this morning. But I'm going to leave these reminders up. Please know that you are welcome to pause this and put on whatever music you like because this is a recording. But I will check in with you at the end. as a teacher in between classes is not really, doesn't exist. It's one class to the other. So giving yourself time to just check in and observe, what did you make? Why? What happened? What worked? What felt like more creative struggles? Or even just thinking about how did you work with those struggles, right? Sometimes what really helps us in long term is really focusing on what works and what doesn't, and thinking about why that's the case. I think there's a lot of wisdom that we can gather when we simply give ourselves space, but not just that, when we allow ourselves to analyze what really works and reflect on why. So, in this space of working through creative struggle, um, I hope you found this supportive. I hope you found this powerful for the work that you want to do and continue doing. And remember, there's nothing wrong with having these struggles. This is part of the human experience. With, I think it was Frederick Douglass might have said this, without struggle, there is no progress. And that's not to say that you need to struggle, but just remember that this is part of your creative experience. It's never going to just be as simple as every day for the rest of your life, you get up, do a thing, and never face any walls. So I hope that helps as just a reminder. I'm sure you know it, but sometimes it helps to hear it again. Keep on creating, friends, and I look forward to seeing you in the next circle. I'll be putting up a little more information about that soon, but until then, have a great full moon weekend, friends. Bye-bye.